Today, we become legends.
So I've talked briefly about this topic in some streams or tier lists in the past with how I think certain picks are viable in roles that you wouldn't normally expect, so I thought I'd do a dedicated video discussing these picks and explaining why I think they're actually underrated and how you can use them yourself. So this first one up is one that you probably have heard me rave about if you watch my channel frequently, and that's Cali Mid. This is a pick that has been working for me consistently for at least the whole of Season 7, but I think I've honestly been playing it since Season 6 with great success. Of course, before insta-locking this pick, you need to secure a magical ADC or jungler to make up for the lack of a mage mid laner. Don't go picking this when you have a traditional team with a hunter ADC and assassin jungle. But if you can get the right team comp to allow you to play a physical mid, I really think Cali Mid has tons of potential. Her early game clear is actually pretty solid with Lash and Mage's Blessing. I like to go Crusher early on as well for even better clear and some early burst damage for those skirmish fights. Then go into a traditional Cali build after Crusher and Boost. Being a main jungler, she can of course clear camps pretty well between waves too, which allows her to keep up in farm very easily or even get a lead just by farming early on. To be honest, this pick mainly hinges on the misconception that Cali is weak early game. She's not. She's weak mid game. Her early game is actually pretty solid. At the very least, she can match most mages for early pressure and often beats out plenty of mages like Scylla, Hera, Nuwa, and plenty of others that lack great early game clear. Then of course, 20 minutes and onwards, you play this pick exactly the same as you would play Cali jungle and dive the backline hard for your target kills. This pick really only plays different for the early and mid game. Moving on, we have Knox Support. So I don't think Cali mid is better than Cali jungle, more so it's just another option you can have fun with and that's still playable. Knox Support, however, I think is genuinely better than Knox mid. Now hear me out, I'm one of the biggest mage support haters in existence. I even despise the likes of Hell support, which many people say is viable, and of course I hate Afro support. But Knox, along with Baron, are the two mages I can honestly get behind in the support role. This pick really hinges on being able to consistently hit your combo. If you have a 20% hit rate on the combo, you won't do well with this, but that's just Knox in general. You'd feed in mid if you can't hit the combo as well. But a lot of Knox's support power comes from the lockdown that this combo provides. The instant silence is great for peel on its own a lot of the time when your backline is getting dived, but the length of the lockdown you can get with that full combo is easily enough for the team to burst the target down if they don't have beads. Being tanky and coming from the support role relieves that pressure to be doing big damage and allows you to just focus on hitting those combos and letting your teammates do the rest. It's not just the combo though, her ultimate, lesser known to some people, applies a 5-second 40% damage reduction buff to all enemies you hit with it. So in support, you don't even necessarily have to use it for damage. I like to just use it when we initiate to support our dive or to peel enemies that are diving my carries. If your jungler and solo laner are ulting into the backline, just fire this at the enemy mid and or ADC and they won't be able to kill your frontliners for 5 seconds. It's as simple as that. I also like to combine this with an upgraded horrific emblem for a total of 55% damage reduction on enemies. That can be pretty fun. Overall, I think this pick has tons of potential, and like I said, I think her support is genuinely better than her mid even after the buffs. So moving on, we have Anubis Jungle. This one is pretty simple. You play pretty much the same, aside from going blink, you just do it in jungle. I find that in this meta of invades being super disincentivized, Anubis actually is more safe in the jungle than he is in mid and can get away with a lot more there. His clear is obviously great, he has nice sustain with the way he builds, his ganks are pretty decent as long as you can hit the stun. The main issue is that you sort of need to go blink to be able to gank effectively, which locks you out of buying both beads and Aegis for teamfights late game. He is also a magical jungler, which can be pretty useful, both to allow for physical mids, but also to gank solo laners building physical defense. If the enemy solo is against a warrior, they're likely just going to get physical defense first item, and an Anubis ult will melt them pretty quickly early on in the game. This one is arguable on whether it's better than his mid. There are advantages and disadvantages to both for sure, but I think Anubis Jungle has some real potential that isn't often explored. Awilix Solo is next up, which has actually started getting a little bit of mainstream attention recently. I think FineOK played it a few times on stream and in videos. I've been testing out this pick pretty much since the Soul Eater changes came about that gave her a little bit of sustain that she desperately needed in solo. She works pretty well with a Bruiser build from solo in my opinion, and can definitely hold her own in most matchups. Featherstep I found is exceptionally useful against a lot of warriors for the cripple and immunity frames. She also has solid rotations with Suku that can often out-rotate most other warriors. This one is definitely not a replacement for her main role of jungle. Jungle Awilix is far better than solo Awilix, but I still think this pick has some potential for sure, and you should give it a try if you're like me and love some assassin solos. And finally we have Anheuser Jungle. This one is one that's been lurking on the edge of my radar, but I think has some genuine merits now with the changes to Anheuser's jump. It can now actually be used reliably as an aggressive engage tool, meaning he has more than one way to get in on a gank and is not totally reliant on blink. He has insane burst damage, his ult hits harder than probably any meta jungler's ult in the game aside from maybe Tsukuyomi, and he can often do this damage from a pretty safe range. The only thing holding Anheuser Jungle back in my opinion is his camp clear. It's mediocre at best. You never really want to jump to clear a camp because it spreads out the targets, which is annoying. His 1 is just a small damage increase, and his 2 has decent damage, but it's not the best. And with no option like Golden Blade to make up for that clear, he often has to spare auto attacks for side minions, which slows down his clear quite a bit. But honestly, he has the rest of the tools required to be a good jungler in my opinion, and he should definitely give this one a try. So that's 5 off-meta picks I think have some real potential. If you have any others you didn't see on this list, drop them down below, and perhaps I'll make a part 2 to this series if any of them are legit picks. Subscribe for more videos coming soon, and I'll catch you guys in another one later on. Have a great day, and peace out, you nerds.